thrill me.
This show is part of the Thrill Me Podcast Network. Experience more on Facebook and YouTube.
It's Review It Man, reviewing what he can. Movies are his jam, so let's get twisted, man. It's Review It Rob.
Hey yo, welcome to the Review It Rob show. I am of course your host, Review It Rob, coming back to you after taking a week off last week as I was sick, still kind of dealing with some sickness here, but time to do the show will go on, as they say, man. So appreciate you joining in to listen to the show here. Got 2 reviews for you this week, man, seeing how I missed one show and I got to watch 2 new movies, man. So gonna spoiler free talk about those 2 films as well as give you some news in the horror realm, the DC realm, and whatever else is going on movie wise out there, man. Maybe a quick episode, but we're gonna get in here and have some fun, man. So again, appreciate you joining in and listening to the show. Gonna kick it off with the first movie I watched over the weekend. We are in the holiday season, so some of the films are going to be holiday related, and both of these films I'll be talking about today are holiday related and new. The first one being It's a Wonderful Knife. It is rated R for bloody violence, language, and drug use. It is a holiday horror film running in at 1 hour and 27 minutes and is currently streaming on Shudder. A year after surviving her town from after a year of surviving her town from a psychotic killer on Christmas Eve, Winnie's life is less than wonderful. But when she wishes she'd never been born, she finds herself in a nightmare parallel universe and discovers that without her, things could be much, much worse, including that the killer is back. Rotten Tomatoes critics give the score a 54%, while the audience score is sitting at a 72%, and IMDb has it at a 5.3 out of 10. So, if you're like me, and you're a big horror fan, you're kind of always looking for like a horror Christmassy kind of film to watch around this time of year, and you know we've got some good ones. Krampus is a go-to every year for me and for a lot of people this time of year. You can watch the Black Christmas films, Gremlins, maybe not straight up horror, but there's still some stuff going on in Gremlins. It can be a little spooky there. Better Watch Out. That's a movie I discovered last year that is a must-watch every single year around this time. So, horror and Christmas, while it seems like are 2 things that don't go together, it has had its run. There's plenty of holiday-themed films, and this is the latest one to come out in the horror genre set around the Christmas time. So, I was excited, seeing when this movie came out and hearing about it and seeing that Justin Long is in it, who is without a doubt a horror icon at this point. I think he's a horror king, if you will. We have our Scream Queens. He should count as a Scream King, and he's good in the movie. He's great in the movie. He does a good job. Justin Long is one of those people I think everybody likes. I don't know if there's too many people out there who don't like Justin Long, but he is solid in the film as well as the whole cast overall. Jane Widdop plays Winnie in the film, who is our star of the movie and our main character of the film, and she's really good as well. So the film itself, as I just went over the synopsis there, craziness happens on during the Christmas holidays and parties. There is a slasher killer on the loose who is, of course, killing people around the holiday time, and there's a battle, there's a survival, and then after that, things get a little unhappy for our main character here, Winnie, and she ends up wishing that she was no longer around, and that ends up turning into its own little thing, which I liked the fact they kind of did something a little different here, and all that. Of course, It's a Wonderful Knife is a play on the classic Christmas film It's a Wonderful Life, so you've got your parallels between the 2 films there that you'll run into. But overall, I think the film is solid. I think it is a solid slasher film. It was entertaining from start to finish for me. It's only an hour and 27 minutes. It's a very quick, breezy watch. It is pretty bloody, violent at times, so if you're squeamish, be prepared for that. But I think it works. I think the film worked in hitting the entertainment value that you would look for here. It has its Christmassy vibe to it, but with, of course, the R rating horror slasher kind of film behind it. to give you horror fans like myself something fun from our genre during this time of year if you're doing some kind of watching. So overall, I think it was solid. It is a film I will gladly watch every year. I don't know if it's staying on Shudder forever. I don't know if it's gonna stay there, but if it's gonna be exclusive there or not. But as of right now, it is on Shudder. So if you don't have Shudder already, highly recommend getting it. It's worth it. It's not that pricey, and it's got plenty of horror stuff on there as well as other Christmas films. But yeah, overall, I think It's a Wonderful Knife did exactly what it needed to do. It doesn't have to be, this award-winning kind of film. It does exactly what it needs. It's a slasher holiday film, and it does exactly what it does. It gives you a slasher film set around a holiday, and it's violent and funny, and it's like, oh crap, here we go, kind of movie. So it is something I enjoyed watching. Again, pretty quick movie to watch, easy watch, and I'll gladly watch it every year around this time. So It's a Wonderful Knife gets a pass for me. Going from there is a much different film that I checked out called Family Switch. This is not a horror movie, well, depending on the circumstances of the film, if you will. But Family Switch, this is a new film that hit Netflix over the weekend as well. It is rated PG for teen partying, language suggestive material, easy for me to say, and some comedic elements. It is a kid family comedy film running in at 1 hour and 41 minutes, and like I mentioned, it is streaming on Netflix as it is a Netflix film. Jess and Bill Walker are doing their best to keep their family connected as their children grow older, more independent and more distant. When a chance encounter with an astrological reader, did I say that right? Yes, I did. Go me. Reader causes the family to wake up in a full body switch on the morning of the most important day of each of their lives. Can the Walkers unite to land all of their dreams and aspirations and get back into their respective bodies? Rotten Tomatoes critics are at a 42%. The audience is at a 47%. Pretty close there. And IMDb is at a 5.6 out of 10. So what were my thoughts on this movie? Family Switch. Pretty, obvious from the synopsis I was reading there. It's like a Freaky Friday style movie. Again, this is set around Christmas time as well, so you get your Christmassy vibes in watching here. Not a horror film like the other movie, but it's very much like Freaky Friday. It's one of those things where family is in a weird place. They're not getting along all that well. They're moving in different directions. The kids are growing up. They're growing distant from their family. They have their own goals. They've got their own things that they're worried about and trying to accomplish. And the family unit is not strong. So something by happenstance happens when they're all out, and the bodies switch, right? Like I said, it's very Freaky Friday in that style, and it's a pretty good point to put it at, is if you enjoy Freaky Friday, you're gonna enjoy this movie. This movie is funny, it's cute, it's got heart to it, it's got strong acting from all of our cast here. So the big names of the film are Jennifer Garner and Ed Helms. You know those two, classic actors, right? And then, of course, our star of the film here is Emma Myers, who you should know if you saw Wednesday. She plays Enid on Wednesday, and she's great in the movie. She's the star of this film. Cast is great. The acting is fine. The story, again, very Freaky Friday. It works just like a Freaky Friday movie goes. So if you enjoy Freaky Friday, you're going to enjoy this film, and I did enjoy this film. I had a good time with it. I thought everything was solid. I had fun watching it the whole time. Again, from start to finish, I was invested to see how it goes and how it all worked out, and I think it was very well done. I think it was put together in a good way. It is a family film, and it was an enjoyable movie. Emma Myers is, I mentioned Wednesday a moment ago, of course, stars Jenna Ortega, who is considered one of the future of acting actresses, as she should be. She's very talented. But Emma Myers maybe gets a little underlooked, but she's fantastic in Wednesday as Enid. And this is the second thing I've seen her in, and she's a solid actress, man. She's a talent, and she's one of those actresses that definitely has a bright future as well, and it shines in this film like it does in Wednesday. So she's good. Brady, who plays the brother Wyatt in this film, he's good. Again, Jennifer Garner, Ed Helms are great. The cast is strong. And the story, again, it's good. It's got emotion, it's got heart, it's got comedy, good comedy in it. And, it'll make you laugh, man. It'll make you have a good time while watching the film. So definitely suggest seeing this one as well. Will it be a yearly watch for me? I don't know. to be honest with you. Not to say the movie isn't good. It's just I don't know. Christmas time films are not something I get heavily invested into like I do with Halloween time and watching horror movies, 31 Days of Horror, and all that stuff. When it comes to the Christmas time aspect, there's certain movies I have to watch, like the Jim Carrey Grinch. Um, the Home Alone films, Batman Returns. Yes, that counts as a Christmas movie. Those movies I have to watch every year. Other than that, I just kind of go with the flow. Don't really have too many films picked out, and I don't really do it. My brother, Tombstone Josh, did challenge me to do 25 days of Christmas. I don't. I seriously doubt that's going to happen. um, it's just with it being the end of the year, and I still have other movies I need to catch up on that came out this year before I do the end of the year voting and all that stuff. It may be a bit tricky. He did ask me to do like four certain things. That's watch, something new, something old, something Hallmark, which may be a tough one, and then something gruesome. So it's a Wonderful Knife that was both new and gruesome. So I guess I took care of two there. The Family Switch, also new and kind of family oriented, so maybe Hallmarky. I don't know if it's a Netflix movie, so maybe not Hallmark. But overall, I enjoyed both films. I had a good time with both films. And you know what? Honestly, I probably would watch both of them yearly if I, got around to it and was like looking for films to watch for the Christmas time. Like, yeah, I probably would throw both of these on again very easily. Actually, now that I think about it more, because again, Family Switch is an enjoyable film. It's on Netflix. It's right there for you to check out if you have Netflix. So it's solid. So I think yeah, I probably could end up watching these yearly. So there you go. Those are my spoiler-free thoughts on two movies, man. Two reviews this week for It's a Wonderful Knife and Family Switch. All right, we started off with a horror movie review. Let's go ahead and jump into horror news here, man. Only really one big thing that's happened since the last time we talked here on the show with horror news, and this has got people going crazy on the internet for some reason. Um, the Black Phone is getting a sequel. There will be a sequel. Ethan Hawke will be returning. Pretty much most of the cast is returning here. Ethan Hawke, Mason Thames, Madeline McGraw, Jeremy Davis, and Miguel Mora are set to return for Black Phone 2, which is a sequel to the excuse me, still, trying to get my voice back from being sick. Sequel to the 2022 Blumhouse film. The release date currently for this film is June 27th, 2025, which is a birthday for me, so that's a birthday film. But like I mentioned, people are kind of freaking out about this when it was announced. They're like, how can you do this? With what happened in the film and all that stuff, how can you have a sequel to this movie, yada, yada, yada. As if people have not seen horror films, apparently. Like, especially horror franchise films. Like, the people who are saying this stuff, I'm sure, are fans of Halloween or Friday the 13th or Nightmare Before Christmas or Texas Chainsaw or freaking Child's Play or any countless number of, horror franchises where the villain returns. Like, it's not. I don't know why it's so shocking to people. Like, I don't know what happened. Some people are like, "Oh, this is so shocking, and this can't happen. Why is this? Why is this gonna happen?" Like, dude, no. Like, horror movies have always been something. Now, of course, there are standalone horror films, which is fine, but freaking franchise films and sequels have always been around, and having a villain return is nothing new in horror films. So I don't understand the shock that people are going through with the fact that Black Phone 2 has been announced, but it is their prerogative. So whatever it be, it will be. That's social media for you. But I am excited for it. I did like the Black Phone. Black Phone was fun, and I'm happy that this is going to be a horror movie birthday release for me in 2025. So, Black Phone 2 is happening. Other horror-related news. This is video game news because the Video Game Awards took place recently, which I did not watch because they did not nominate Hogwarts Legacy for a damn thing, which is unbelievably ridiculous in my opinion. But I did see some new trailers that released, and we've got some horror video games to talk about. The main big one to talk about is the game coming from Supermassive. If you know me, if you're been with the show since the beginning, first off, thank you. And secondly, I love the Supermassive video games. Dark Pictures Anthology, Until Dawn. The Quarry, all that stuff, man. Love it, love it, love it to death. And they have teamed up with the team behind Dead by Daylight to make a video game. They're working together and they released a teaser trailer for a game called The Casting of Frank Stone. And it looks freaking awesome. I am excited for this, obviously, and I cannot wait to play this bad boy. So you can check out that trailer. There's been some screenshots released for it as well. If you want to go check those things out again, it's called The Casting of Frank Stone, official reveal trailer. You can go check that out. And just some quotes from, let's see, Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight senior creative director Dave Richards saying, quote, "Some people really wanted to be able to live Dead by Daylight story more. We've done that with comic books. We've done that in other ways with a single-player narrative game where you could literally lose yourself in a story that takes part in the same world as Dead by Daylight. Was always something we were hoping to do at some point. We're going to take you where you don't expect to go," end quote. And then, of course, they're teaming up with Supermassive, who has a history here. Yes, awesome. Give me more freaking story-based horror video games. Like Dead by Daylight, which I've thought about playing now that Chucky's on it. Haven't played before. I'm not really interested in those games. I have Friday the 13th. I didn't enjoy playing it, mostly probably because I didn't play with friends. But, I'll play Killer Clowns when that comes out because, Killer Clowns is a cool property. But, these survival multiplayer horror games are not really my milieu, if you will. But I'm excited for this, and I love a story-based video game, and I'm into it, man. So, bring that on. Can't wait to see that. The other game that they announced was Jurassic Park Survival, which looks freaking amazingly awesome in so many ways, but one way that it is going to just annoy me to death. But Jurassic Park Survival looks awesome. They did the trailer for that as well, teaser trailer for that, and it is a video game that takes place the day right after the events of the first film. Like, I think it's the day after the first film. So what happened in the first film ends. This is where this game's taking place. You're playing one of the people who worked there, and they're trying to, of course, survive. But my only problem with this game is that it's first person, and I hate first person video games so much. Like, I do not enjoy them at all. So that part really annoys me. But I will, of course, be playing the game because it is Jurassic Park, so I will have to buck it up and deal with that. But I really hate the fact that it's first person. But I will find a way to enjoy that, because it looks so freaking awesome. Go watch that trailer. You will understand why it looks so freaking awesome. Other one, they announced a third person, which, thank you, third person video games are the way to go. Third person Marvel Blade video game that kind of falls under horror as well, since you're dealing with vampires, of course. So that should be cool. I don't remember the trailer giving too much away, but it should be a cool game. Marvel's had some interesting games lately. Spider-Man games are really good. The Guardians of the Galaxy game went under the radar. That game is so much freaking fun. And we're waiting for Wolverine. And Blade could very well be a fun game. So we'll see how that all works out there, man. But Twisted Metal TV series is also coming back. It has been renewed for a second season. I watched that with my before-mentioned brother Tombstone Josh, and we watched that show together. We need to finish it, but we were enjoying it. We were having a good time with that show, so I'm glad to see that it has been renewed for a season 2. Let's see, that's it for horror stuff over in DC land. We had some casting. Sean Gunn has officially been cast as Maxwell Lord in the DC Universe. Maxwell Lord, you may or may not remember, was played by Pedro Pascal in Wonder Woman 84. In the new DC Universe, Sean Gunn will be playing Maxwell Lord, who will be mentioned apparently in Superman Legacy, but won't be in the film. It's not too surprising that Sean Gunn is part of this. Sean has been in a lot of James, his brothers, who is, of course, running, the DC universe with Peter Safran. He's been in a lot of his stuff, and I don't have a problem with that. I know a lot of people on the internet are being, internet people, snobby, shitty people. It's cool. I like Sean Gunn. I've liked Sean Gunn since Gilmore Girls. That was my first introduction to Sean Gunn. But yeah, he's been in a lot of James Gunn stuff. It's not too surprising that he was going to be in something. I mean, he was in his Suicide Squad movie as Weasel and the Calendar Man. So, hey, fine with it. This is a pretty decent sized character here with Maxwell Lord. So, I'm interested to see how it goes, man. I'm interested to see how the whole DC universe goes going forward. You know me, I'm a DC guy. I love it to death, obviously. I have a section of the show dedicated to DC. So, I'm excited to see where things go there, man. I, I like it. I like Sean Gunn. I think he's fun. I think he's a good actor. So, having him in the role of Maxwell Lord be interesting to see, man. Be interesting to see how that all turns out. Other that there's no casting news here, but the rumor flying around for Supergirl now, because we do know we have a Supergirl, the Woman of Tomorrow film announced for the DC Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. And the latest rumor is Lily Reinhart playing the character of Supergirl. And the rumors have come out saying that Sasha Calle will not be returning to the role of Supergirl that she played in the Flash film that was released earlier this year. First with Lily Reinhart, you may know her. I think the main thing she's known for is Riverdale, which I watched 3 episodes of. um, but she's good. I can see her as Supergirl. Um, Again, rumor. Other rumors I saw was Dove Cameron, who I do know more about. I'm a Dove Cameron fan. I think she's fantastic. If she was Supergirl, that's cool. I think I saw something about Catherine Newton as well, which is interesting because she's Cassie Lang in Marvel, so I don't know necessarily if that's going to happen there. And of course, these are, all rumors, and you have to take this stuff with a grain of salt. But Lily Reinhardt or Dove Cameron would be awesome for me. Like I think both of them will be perfectly fine in the role. Again, the Catherine Newton thing I probably could be just making up, to be honest with you. But I feel like I saw her at some point in time mentioned there. Which again, she's not a bad actress, but I just don't see that happening with her being Cassie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it seems like they're going a Young Avengers route there. So I doubt she would be cast. Now the Sasha Calle part of it, not surprising. Um, just knowing that they're going a different route with DC now, and that whatever happens in these DCEU films, we got one more with Aquaman in a couple weeks. Whatever happens with these movies is just ends there with Aquaman. Sasha I think was really good in the role. I think she was good in the Flash film. It sucks that it would be just one go for her unless they do something else worlds with that storyline and everything, which I doubt happens. But yeah, a new person playing Supergirl was pretty much bound to happen, I think. And if they want to go that route, more power to them. It's nothing against Sasha. Again, I think she did good, but we're just living in this new world where we're recasting characters and starting fresh and new, kind of. We still got some people who are reprising their roles and all that stuff, but it's a new world, new creations, new start. Even with those characters that are reprising roles, so it is what it is. Again, grain of salt, but those are the rumors. The latest rumor being Lily Reinhart for Supergirl. So we'll see how things pan out. We've been getting a good amount of casting news. I don't believe we'll get anything Supergirl too soon, unless she is in Superman Legacy. Then we'll probably get something known there. But I would just say keep it in the film. Don't even announce it. And just let Supergirl show up. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's see, other stuff going on DC wise. Netflix recently has gotten a ton of DC films over there because I don't know why. And the reason I say that is I'm like, you have Max right there. Max is a streaming service for all this stuff. I mean, I know why. You're loaning your films out to get money from another streaming service to have those films for a certain amount of time. I get why they're doing it, but you think, I don't know, over here on Max is the only place you can watch these DC films, so you would have to get Max. Would be a calling card to get it, but I don't know. Maybe Max isn't succeeding. I have no idea, but. either way, um, there has been a lot of talk about the Snyderverse, right? Especially now that Zack Snyder has a partnership over there with Netflix with Rebel Moon coming out soon, which does look like it should be interesting. Like I think I'll enjoy it from the trailers I've seen, and of course it's starring freaking Sofia Boutella, who I am a fan of. She's definitely a favorite actress. So that could be good. But going back to the Snyderverse stuff, Scott Stuber, who is the head of film over there at Netflix, said they are aware of the fans' online campaign and actually considered getting the rights for Zack Snyder's DC films, saying, "quote Obviously, we would like to license it at some point. We'd love to have it on so that fans can experience more Zack. The more Zack we have, the better we are." However, Stuber goes on to acknowledge the process would be difficult for the streaming giant, saying, "quote That's always tricky because we don't own it." End quote. The Snyderverse doesn't die, apparently. This is something on the internet that just continues to have its fan base behind it, which is fine. I enjoyed the Snyder films, and I really enjoy his Justice League movie. I thought that was really good. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how that would work. I mean, I know how it would work. It would live on Netflix, and people can go to Netflix to watch those things. But I mean, just having all this stuff going on at one time would just seem to be a mess. Because obviously we're building the DCU, we're building the DC universe. That's going to be a whole other Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman and eventually other characters that'll be part of that. It's like all that stuff, and then over here on Netflix you have return. I mean, would Ben Affleck even return to play Batman over there? Would they return any of them return to play the characters? Is a question, right? I mean, I'm sure they all love Zack Snyder, so I'm sure Zack Snyder could talk them into doing it. It's on Netflix, probably less of a interference, if you will, from the creatives over there. But I don't know. I just don't know why. I enjoy those characters and everything. I'm just so into the new universe of it all, and we've already have Elseworlds with the Batman and the Joker and those things going on over there. Penguin, right? It's just, do we need the Netflix side of it as well? I mean, the more DC, the better for me and for a lot of people who love DC stuff, but I think it creates an unnecessary confusion and an unnecessary battle of people that would be like, "Oh well, the Zack Snyder DC is so much better than the James Gunn DC," which they're already going to do, but having them both living and breathing and creating at the same time might be too much. You know, maybe just a little bit too much. So we'll see what ends up happening there, but I don't know if it needs to happen, to be honest with you. Sorry, Snyderverse fans. Again, I enjoy the Snyderverse stuff, so I wouldn't mind more stuff there, but it no longer existing is not hurting me either. Like, I get it. I get where we're going. We're going into a new direction, and I would prefer everything be focused on that new direction. Um, but while we're talking about the past and special cuts, something that has not had the same backing as the Snyder Cut of Justice League had um, is still out there and still circulating around the rumor mill and possibilities of happening, and that is the David Ayer cut of Suicide Squad. This is of course different than the James Gunn and the Suicide Squad film. This is the Suicide Squad movie with Jared Leto, Joker, and Will Smith's Deadshot, and all those characters. Um, Much talked about. David Ayer continues to talk about on social media about how his film is much better than the cut that was released, and it possibly is. We saw with Zack Snyder's Justice League that it absolutely was better than the other Justice League movie that came out. So David Ayer's Suicide Squad could very well be a much better movie. I don't doubt that by any means. We've heard about Jared Leto talking about a lot of his stuff was cut and all that. So there's definitely stuff out there. The film would be better explained, more things going on. I don't hate that movie, to be honest with you. Like, I've had enjoyment watching that movie, but it's just, again, do we need it? Like, I mean, release it. Sure, why not? Again, release it, put it as a special edition thing. It's not gonna lead to anything. It's not gonna create a whole new universe. It's not gonna be anything other than that. It's just gonna be a special edition of the movie. Maybe you can put that on Netflix. Maybe that'll be something you put on Netflix. Or again, you have Max, you have your own streaming service. Put it on there. Like, I'll gladly watch it. Yeah, I'll check it out and see what the difference would be for sure. But it's just interesting that that's still going on. This is a movie that was released, what, 2016, right? So it's interesting that still happens. But Zack Snyder's Justice League revitalized the talks there, and David Ayer keeps it going. So and apparently James Gunn has said at some point it will happen. So we'll see, man. We'll see what it has to do. I believe he doesn't have to reshoot anything, so it's not exactly like Zack Snyder's Justice League. They don't have to shoot anything. They just have to put the film out as it was created by David Ayer. So do it, man. Why not? Put it right there on Max. It doesn't have to be released in theaters. It doesn't have to be anything like that. Just drop it. Release it. Now would be a good time. Well, not now. We have Aquaman coming out, but 2024, what do we have? We have the Batman, right? No, we have Joker. The Batman's not next year. Batman's what, 2025? When is the Batman? The Batman 2 is, 2025. So, 2024, we have Creature Commando, we have Joker 2. I think that's it. So yeah, just drop it on Max next year or something. Like, I don't know what we'd have to really wait for, because in 2024 the DCU will be starting back up. Creature Commando being the first property, but the first live action film is Superman Legacy in 2025. So you have the opening to just put it out there and release it and put some time behind it and all that stuff, and it shouldn't be too wonky or confusing to anybody. But who freaking knows, man? But that's what's going on DC wise. So there you go. Other things going on in the movie realm before we close things out here. Angelina Jolie has signed on to star in a third live action Maleficent movie. Good for her, right? I enjoyed that first Maleficent movie. I do not remember the second one at all, to be completely and utterly honest with you. I do not remember that movie. But like I mentioned, I did like the first one. I will gladly watch this again. I haven't seen anything about Elle Fanning returning to play Princess Aurora, or Sleeping Beauty, whatever you want to call her. But I would hope she would be back. I don't know why she wouldn't be, unless they're going a different route with that film, which again, I don't know why you would do that. But nonetheless, another live action Disney film on the way with Maleficent 3, and not Disney, but another film getting another life. I don't know what I'm talking about here. Kevin Smith has officially announced that he is writing another Jay and Silent Bob movie, saying, quote, "Right now, as we speak, I'm writing another Jay and Silent Bob movie." Which, yes, love that, man. I love me some Kevin Smith films. I've pretty much enjoyed all of them, I think. I don't think there's too many I didn't enjoy there. But yeah, especially the Jay and Silent Bob films. Like, I've watched Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I've lost count how many times I watched that movie. Freaking Jay and Silent Bob reboot was so good and heartwarming and funny and all that stuff. So yeah, another Jay and Silent Bob movie I am absolutely here for. Excited to see where that goes. Have a good time with that film. Like, I've been on record, Kevin Smith has helped inspire me in a lot of ways, including starting podcasting. First time I ever heard about podcasting was from Kevin Smith, so he's behind me doing this show here and anything I've done podcasting wise. So I'm a big Kevin Smith fan, and especially love the Silent Bob and Jay and Silent Bob films, and anything that man puts out. Like, I've been there to watch it and enjoy it and have a good time. So I'm excited for another Jay and Silent Bob round, another jam from the boys there. So that should be a good fun time. Right, and that'll do it for this week's episode, man. Appreciate you joining in and listening to the show. I always have a fun time doing the show. This is a passion project for me, and I appreciate anybody taking the time to listen to me ramble on about movie news. So I hope you had a good time, man, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, week, month, year, as we're coming to the end of this year and heading into 2024, man. So appreciate you all, and as always, I like to end the show with a little positive note here, as we all should take care of our mental health, man. It's important. We all struggle, and we all have some battles, but we can get through them by continuing to fight, man. It's worth it. You are important. You are very, very important. So thank you for watching this show. I appreciate you all. And remember that happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light. Talk to you all next episode.